Live on YouTube, Kritika. Go ahead.
We're ready? Okay. Yeah, let's start. Jay, we're ready to go, right? Okay. Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to the High School Success Strategy session hosted by GATS. I'm Kritika Bharati, and I'm one of the EC members in GATS this year, and I also lead the Youth Education Subcommittee. In case this is your first time here, this is our second information session for this year. And just like the previous one, we have talented children joining this time as well who will be sharing valuable information. So for today, our session is going to be emceed by Ashwath Tirunellai and Shreya Senthilkumar. They both are sophomores. Ashwath goes to Duluth High School and Shreya goes to West Forsyth High School. Without further ado, I welcome Ashwath and Shreya to carry this presentation forward.
Thank you so much, Auntie. Welcome, everyone. As Auntie said, today's presentation is about the strategies on how to be successful in high school. This is presented by the GATS Youth Education Subcommittee.
Before we begin, we would like to invite Mrs. Pungiri from the GATS Youth Committee to say a few words. Mrs. Pungiri?
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Pungudi Vijay Kumar, GATS EC member and Youth Committee lead. I'm one of lead, and Mr. Sendil Karpanan and Mr. Ram Krishnan also give our Youth Committee lead, and Jay, President Jay. And for the past 2 years, GATS is doing a lot of events for kids, lot like volunteer servers, webinars, boot camps, tutoring, and youth entrepreneurships opportunities and internships, volunteers, and in MedShare and medical clinic and more, and to help middle schoolers and high school kids further. The GATS Youth Committee is divided into 6 subcommittees. They are education, medical, and charity, technology, sports, and cultural. So each subcommittee is mentored by 1 or more adult volunteers. Also, each subcommittee will provide leadership opportunities to each junior and senior high school students. Okay, and if you would like to be part of our youth committee, please contact me or Kritika. Okay, I would like to hand over to kids and continue. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Pungiri.
So what do? We started tutoring in 2019. We offered tutoring sessions for students from kindergarten to 12th grade. Due to COVID-19, they are now virtual through Zoom on Saturday from 5 to 7 p.m. and on Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. We also hold informational sessions such as this every 4 months.
And these pictures were taken pre-COVID-19. Well, why should you become a mentor in our program? Well, you'll get to improve your communication and interpersonal skills, as well as develop leadership and management qualities. You get to engage in an amazing volunteering opportunity and meet like-minded people. Not only that, but this is a great way to give back to your community, and you'll also earn volunteer hours for your work.
What makes our tutoring special? Well, unlike other tutoring groups, GATS tutoring is one-on-one. Mentees get a dedicated tutor to help them with their homework and projects. They'll also be able to increase their social and academic confidence while improving their grades. They'll be able to discuss openly any challenge they face in learning that their teachers may not be able to address in a large group. And it's free quality education.
These are just some of the people who are part of the GATS Youth Education Subcommittee. Without them, this presentation would not have been possible. They are the reason that we are able to present this information to you today.
Today's agenda. First up, we have Nikita Kuntu and Divya Kathiravan, who will be teaching us about middle to high school transitions.
Next, we have AP versus IB presented by Renisha Ramprakash.
Third is Vipisha Palanivel, who will be teaching us about college admissions criteria.
Mr. Ram Yaleti will be presenting fourth, and he will be decoding the SAT, ACT, and PSAT.
And finally, we have Miss Robin Zhu, who will teach us about targeted college preparation.
If you have any questions, please type them in the chat box. We'll be having a Q&A session towards the end of the program where our dedicated volunteers Sanjana Veerapaneni and Nikita Rao will read your questions aloud to our panel of experts.
First, we have Nikita Kuntu and Divya Kadiravan, who will be telling us about middle to high school transitions. Nikita Kuntu is a sophomore at South Forsyth High School. Other than tutoring, she also plays chess, draws, and dances. Divya Kadiravan is also a sophomore at South Forsyth High School. She also enjoys reading and playing badminton. Together, they'll be teaching us how to be prepared to transition from middle to high school. Please welcome Nikita and Divya.
Hi guys, I'm Nikita. I'm a sophomore at South Forsyth High School.
Hi, my name is Divya, South Forsyth High School as well.
We'll be talking about high school transitions and important information you need to know before you go into high school. First up, we have Divya for planning ahead.
Okay, so planning ahead is basically understanding high school and how it affects you. So you really need to know how to become a young adult as you progress into high school. And just don't ignore ninth grade because that will be your base. Your GPA and your grades will matter throughout all years of high school. And adjust your environment slowly because it's different. Middle school, you might have assignments due the next day, but in high school, it's going to be due in various days or in various weeks. So you should be calm and be patient. It takes time to adjust to the environment.
Thank you, Divya. Next, we have information about GPA. What is GPA? GPA, called grade point average, is the average of all school. Normally, many parents have, or like anyone has, questions about what the difference between GPA and college credit are. GPA is the grade for all 4 years of school, while college credit is the credit you get from AP, IB, and dual exams. Grades matter. Your grades above 95 to 100. It's better if you keep it into a 95 or 100 range, but it's also good if you also keep it into 90, 100 range. Aim for A's. The normal GPA to keep is any GPA above 4.3. Take more 5.0 classes, often called AP or advanced placement classes. Take IB classes, international baccalaureate. They're not a must, but it's better to take them, and colleges favor them more. It's not a must. You can 11th and 12th grade. If you want a GPA calculator, I include a link to a website that calculates your GPA for you. Thank you. And then after this, we'll talk about procrastination. Procrastination is something that all students do in high school. Follow it. Try to finish. We have a free tutoring program in GATS that will allow you to work ahead, and we have mentors to help you. Keep a checklist. Plan ahead in the week. Stay organized. Means like keep like a checklist in which you can check off every single thing you do in the day, because you'll get more organized by doing that. Don't overload yourself, because overloading yourself will stress you out and only bring you down. And lastly, start thinking about career. Take career-oriented courses. Favor career-oriented courses rather than taking random courses that high school and take like a course in college. So if you're doing something like try to take medical-oriented courses in high school rather than taking something like business-oriented. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. Next, we'll go on to the accelerated path. So we can split the accelerated path into 3 different types. We have AP. Let's start with that. So AP are classes that are advanced classes for college. So that means you can get college credit. And the benefits are that you can get recognized by most of the colleges in the country and maybe colleges in other countries as well. And take it consistently through high school to show an upward path. For example, if you're taking 2 AP classes in your freshman year or 9th grade year, 2 in your sophomore, 3 in your 11th grade year, and even 4 or 5 in your 12th grade year. And colleges love this. And they get recognized more often. So next we have IB. IB are classes similar to AP but are international and independent learning. So they're recognized more than AP around the world but less than APs in the America. Benefits are they prepare for students for college just like AP but at a higher level. You get to study independently and you don't get a teacher's permission to do whatever you want. So that's a really good thing. The downfall is that it's not as recognized as AP as we said before, but it is soon to change. Lastly, we have accelerated pathway, which applies to both AP and IB. And if you are in 7th grade or lower, try to aim for accelerated classes for the following year so that you can get into the accelerated path. Thank you.
Thank you, Divya. Next, we'll talk about extracurricular activities. They are really important when it comes to college applications. Thinking about extracurricular clubs, competition, sports, and internships. As for clubs, you can probably do 7 unless if you're really clear on what clubs you want to do. You can stick to 2 to 3 clubs. Try and gain more experience in clubs and try a variety of clubs and see which one you like in freshman year. Stick to 2 to 3 clubs and gain on it. I've listed some main clubs below. If you want to know more information about clubs, you can check your school website. They have more information about clubs that they provide in that school. As for competitions, they are important. They can earn recognition, useful in essays and college applications. I would recommend trying to do a competition each year. You can either do competitions from the school or an outside group from like a private group. I've listed some major competitions too. As for sports, you need to get good at one sport. I've listed some sports that you can do, or any sport you can do. Join a team. It can be the school team or a private team. In a team, positions like the team captain or leadership positions. Lastly, try to do internships. Colleges favor internships so much. They normally favor internships on basing like career or a career you're going to. And they give you experience too. And they give you a good story to write in your college applications. And summer assignments. Not a lot of people are aware of summer assignments in your school website. Not a lot of schools do this, but only some schools do this. They help prepare kids for the following school year. Especially, for example, if they assign you reading a book, they will normally tell you to write an essay the first week of school. Or if they assign you work in math, they're basically trying to like help you understand the units so you can do the work easier in school. If there's no assignments, study ahead. They're important, especially in high school. Try to study ahead as much as you can. You have more time in when you actually take the courses and understanding of the courses, especially in AP classes. Try to study ahead. So whenever you do course, just to review what you study. The syllabus can be found on the school website. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can email GATS tutoring at gatstamilsangam.org. And for tutoring, you can. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nikita and Divya.
Next up, we have AP versus IB presented by Vernisha Ramprakash. Vernisha is a senior at South Forsyth High School, and she is the youth board chair and is also a representative for the National Society of High School Scholars. Outside of schoolwork, she enjoys tutoring students, making STEM YouTube videos, and performing dance. She's also passionate about science, as her ambition is to become an astrophysicist in the future. She's willing to continue volunteering and serving her community, as that is also very important to her. Now she'll explain to us the difference between AP and IB classes. Please welcome Vernisha Ramprakash.
Hi, I'm Renisha Ramprakash, and I am a tutor for the GATS Education Committee. I'm a senior, and I'm currently in the IB program at South Forsyth High School. So I just want to share some information both about AP and IB, mostly for students who are incoming high schoolers. So most of the students here in Georgia are used to hearing the word AP because it is an American affiliated company, but there's also another program called IB, which stands for International Baccalaureate. There are both similarities and differences between AP and IB, but choosing one over another is not going to provide students a disadvantage because most of the universities here in the US take both AP and IB, just like how both take mostly SAT or ACT. In fact, my brother was in the IB program and he got into Georgia Tech from high school, and he just graduated with a degree in electrical engineering. I also know many seniors that were in the IB program and got selected into Georgia Tech last year from my high school. Now I will talk about some distinctions between AP and IB. Both the AP and IB programs offer challenging courses to high school students who can earn college credit. They're also the same weightage, which means that if a student gets a B in either an AP or an IB class, that would be a 4.0, and A would be a 5.0. So there's still the opportunity of getting a quality point. They're both still considered rigorous courses. Some AP courses can be replaced by IB, or IB courses can be replaced by AP courses. What I mean by that is, for example, if the student had already taken AP Environmental Science, they do not have to take IB Environmental Systems Accel, as they are both considered to have a similar curriculum and will cover about the same topics. And that is how it works for many courses. However, their goals are slightly different. AP, as I said before, being an American company, is run by College Board, whereas IB was developed in Switzerland to be an internationally recognized diploma program. AP is offered all grade levels 9 through 12, while usually schools only offer IB only for juniors and seniors in high school. Some schools, like the international academies here in the US, will most likely offer IB courses for all grade levels, 9 through 12th in high school, but it's very rare here in the state of Georgia. While IB is known for its diploma program, AP also offers a program called the Capstone Diploma Program that is only for juniors and seniors, like the IB diploma program, but only requires students to take 2 APs, AP Research and AP Seminar, to get that diploma. IB has a career program that is similar to AP Capstone, but does not provide a diploma. And also, I know that South Forsyth High School offers AP Capstone Career Program and the IB Diploma Program, which I am currently taking. But there are schools out there that very rarely offer the IB Career Program, as IB is mainly known for its diploma program. Now, I'll talk about some of the distinctions between the exams. AP exams are graded on a scale from 1 through 5, and IB exams are graded on a scale from 1 through 7. AP exams have only multiple choice components and free response questions, while IB exams are only short answer and have no multiple choice component. AP, of course, is more popular, and IB is less common here in the US because Advanced Placement is an American affiliated company. I have a list of the pros and cons of AP. Some pros are that AP is only graded on a scale of 1 through 5, so students do not have to worry about getting a high number and can just focus on getting that 4 or 5. AP courses benefit kids' GPA, as AP courses are offered all grade levels in high school and is more popular as all universities in the US will take AP. It also offers a capstone diploma program, like I mentioned before, that is less intensive than IB because it only requires students to take the AP research and AP seminar courses and nothing more in order to get that diploma. AP exams are also less expensive, and students have a choice if they want to send their AP scores to the universities they are applying to from the College Board. Some negatives from AP, though, are that students will not explore global themes or gain an international mindset and will not really focus on critical thinking skills. They will not be very exposed to creativity, as AP does not require students to do projects or discussions. Their exams, I feel like, are not also the best because all the exams are the same format and only contain a multiple choice component and some free response questions, so it does not expand the student's thought when taking the exam. AP just focuses on teaching specific content and tests students on their knowledge of the exams. So some positive things about IB is that it provides students more emphasis on international mindedness, global themes, and writing and critical thinking skills. Students do more projects and discussions in IB courses, as their graded assessments are mostly those compared to AP courses. IB, like I mentioned before, offers 2 programs, the IB Career Program and the IB Diploma Program, while AP only offers the Capstone Diploma Program. The IB exams are all short answers, which lets students expand their train of thought as they don't have to be set to a specific option like AP in the multiple choice component. I also heard that IB graders are more lenient than the AP graders on exams. The real benefit of IB is that it requires students to do an extended essay, and CAS, which is like a project, which stands for Creativity, Activity, and Service. This CAS requires students to get volunteering hours and write reflection paragraphs for each activity, and the extended essay provides a real-life experience for students on how to write an actual research essay in college. Some cons, though, are that the exam scale is from 1 through 7, making it more difficult for students to get that 6 or 7 as they have to worry about more numbers. IB courses in most schools are only offered in 11th and 12th grade, so students will have to rely on taking more AP courses for the beginning years of high school, so 9th through 10th, for college admissions. It is more intensive compared to AP because the IB diploma program requires students to do a lot of factors, like I mentioned before, such as the extended essay, CAS, and the IB diploma students have to take 3 higher level courses, which last for 2 years, junior and senior year. And most of the schools will have the same teacher for those 2 years, and 3 standard level courses that only last for 1 year, like AP courses. The IB exams are also very expensive as they are $135, and AP exams are only $100. And the IB scores also get automatically sent to universities. So if a student gets a 4 on IB exam, that score goes to universities without students having a choice in sending it or not. As there are more study resources for AP, there are not many study resources for IB, which is a huge drawback for students. IB students would have to search it up on Google for study materials online or go to the ibo.org that has many sample exams, and there is an online textbook called Cognity that IB students would use to prepare for in-class assessments and the end of the year exams. And AP has many study resources such as Princeton Review, Barron's, and Fiveable Online. So I have narrowed down the exam material for both AP and IB exams, which will be helpful for the students. It is the same information I had mentioned before. All AP exams have the same format, which have multiple choice and free response questions. The format for IB exams differ according to courses. The science courses, for example, like IB Chem and IB Physics, have a multiple choice component, and then the other exams that are not science-based, like IB History HL, will have only short answers. Higher level courses will have 3 papers, and standard level courses will only have 2 papers, paper 1 and paper 2. It's not like AP where you would just take the exam on one day. It differs per day. So one exam on one day, another exam on another day. The parent would have to pay $100 for the AP exams and $135 for the IB exams. So people think that IB is not very popular because of the statistics, where 2.8 million students last year took AP exams, but only 166,000 students took the IB exams. So I'll show you what schools here in Georgia offer IB in various cities. In Atlanta, there is Atlanta International School, Druid Hills International School, North Atlanta High School, and Riverwood High School. In Augusta, there's only one school, Academy of Richmond County. In Calhoun, there's Calhoun High School, and in Cartersville, there's Woodland High School. And in College Park, there's North Clayton High School. And of course, incoming, South Forsyth High School. And so based on this, you can tell that there are 27 high schools in Georgia that offer the International Baccalaureate program. Now, even if your high school doesn't offer an IB program, there's really nothing to worry about for the college admission process because universities are going to take either AP or IB. They're not going to prefer one over another or think one program is harder than the other. If the school doesn't offer IB, but the student really wants the opportunity of getting a diploma, he or she would have to do independent study and take some IB courses for fun online through ibo.org or Cognity, like I mentioned before, the study resources you would use for IB. Or they could just apply for the AP Capstone Diploma Program if the school offers it. But if you really want to go outside of the country to pursue education and for like college, then IB courses would really, really matter for the college admission process, because a lot of universities such as University of Cambridge or Oxford will not accept AP. They will mainly look at IB. So these are the universities that will accept AP, IB, dual enrollment, SAT, or ACT scores. Most universities will only accept a 4 or 5 on AP exams, but some universities will even accept a 3 and a 4 or 5 on IB exams based on what course it is. I know that GSU requires a 4 on AP Environmental Science exam, but will accept even a 3 for AP World History. So it really differs based on course and the university. But the highly competitive universities like Georgia Tech, UGA, and Emory would most likely only accept a 4 or 5 on AP exams and a 6 or 7 on IB exams for credit. Thank you, and feel free to ask me any questions.
Thank you, Renisha, for that amazing presentation. Next up, we have Vibisha Parinival, who will be talking about college admission criteria and the common data set. Vibisha is also a senior at South Forsyth High School and loves tutoring, but is also passionate about biomedical engineering, which is her dream major in college. Outside of schoolwork, she enjoys tutoring and Carnatic singing as well as Bollywood dancing. She also enjoys reading and baking. Please welcome Vibisha.
Dipisha, you're talking on mute, Kana. We didn't hear you.
Hi, my name is Apisha Pasanival, and I am a senior at South Forsyth High School. Today, I will be presenting on what the common data set is and how that factors into college admissions. I've also included a QR code in the bottom left corner in case you'd like to access these slides and follow along with the presentation. So what is the common data set? The common data set is a public document that every college provides to the public. It tells the statistics of the admitted year of any given year. For example, your average GPA, their average SAT and ACT scores, and their class rank. How do you access a university's common data set? In any search engine, such as Google, you can type in the college name plus common data set of that year. For example, University of Georgia Common Data Set 2019. What is included in a common data set? It includes the general information, such as what type of college it is, if it's a private or public college, if it's a religiously affiliated college, or if it's a historically Black college. Their enrollment and persistence, such as the number of students that are admitted, their average test scores and GPA, their annual expenses, such as how much it costs to attend each year, and their tuition, financial aid, such as what type of aids are available, and how much students receive in return, as well as what majors are offered at that particular institution and how many students graduate from the particular majors. How does the common data set help you? The college admissions process is long and time consuming. So starting from freshman year itself, you can check colleges' common data sets and start improving yourself on how you'd like to present yourself to the college. You can start improving your GPA or your test scores starting from freshman year itself. As a junior or senior, you can check a college's common data set and see if you would be a good fit for that college. What are some drawbacks of the common data set? So the test range I've included in the bottom left corner. The test range is not a guarantee of you getting into that college. You can score within the test range and be rejected. You can score above the 75th percentile and be rejected, and you can score below the 25th percentile and still be accepted. The common data set also leaves a lot of information out, such as what the student life is like and types of clubs, sports, and organizations are included in the college. Some colleges may not offer them for a specific year or because they haven't been released yet. So up till now, I gave a general overview on what would be included in a common data set, but I'm going to go more in depth by analyzing the University of Georgia's common data set from 2019 to 2020. As you can see here, they have divided their undergraduates by male and female, and they've provided the total number of undergraduates they have admitted for that year. On this page, they have categorized their undergraduate admittance of this year by race. While the number of Asian admittance are low compared to white admittance, it's still a good number of Asian admittance to UGA. On this page, you can see what UGA requires from students in high school. At the bottom, you can see that they require a total of 17 units, but recommend 19. The only difference here is that they recommend an extra year of foreign language and 1 year of academic electives. Here, you can get a feel of what the admissions process is like at UGA. The very important categories is the one you should prioritize when considering considered coming after. At UGA, your academic rigor and GPA matter the most, with your test scores coming after everything else is considered. You can also see if they what type of tests that they require at at UGA. You can see that they required an SAT or ACT score for admissions. This year, the University System of Georgia has not required us to give an SAT or ACT score, but this may apply afterwards. Here you can see that they have categorized what the SAT scores and ACT scores admittance have given to them. The 25th percentile is the lower standard and shows how is a lower standard. So you can see that their composite score is a 1240, but your 75th percentile is a 1400. It's good if you score within these scores and if you score higher. You can also see that their 27 is a score of 27 on ACT is in the 25th percentile, and a score of 32 is in the 75th percentile. Here, they've given more information on how they split their ACT scores and SAT scores and how admins have scored in each category. For example, 27% of admins scored 1400 to 1600, more than half on the SAT. More than half earned a score of 1200 to 1399, and 13% earned a score of 1000 to 1199. This is categorized even more by what they scored on their reading and math. They have also given your ACT and composite scores in ACT English and math. This shows what the admittance of this year's GPAs looked like. This is given by their weighted GPA. So 62% had a GPA of 4 or higher, and then 29% had a GPA between 3.75 and 3.99, and 5.6% had a GPA between 3.5 and 3.74. These are weighted GPAs, So if you have taken an AP class, your GPA would be higher than a 4. Here I've included some links to popular colleges' common data set, as well as University of Georgia's and Georgia Tech's common data set. You can scan the QR code in the corner to access these slides and click on the links to see what their common data sets look like. Thank you.
Thank you, Vipisha.
Next, we have Mr. Romuletti, who will teach us how to decode the SAT, ACT, and PSAT. Mr. Romuletti is the founder and CEO of Mathis Academy, an online educational academy based in Atlanta, Georgia, that coaches high school students on the SAT, PSAT, ACT, and college counseling. They also train kindergarten to 12th grade students on critical thinking subjects such as math, English, science, coding, spelling, and etc. As an educational evangelist, Mr. Ram works with schools and school districts in improving public education systems. He is also on the board of the Georgia Mathematics Advisory and was former Atlanta chapter director for the North-South Foundation. Outside of the education field, Mr. Ram is the founder and CEO of Redshift Enterprise Consulting Solutions and was a former senior director of professional services at Manhattan Associates. Please welcome Mr. Romuletti.
Thank you for that introduction. Am I clearly audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Could you please turn your camera on, Mr. Ram?
Sure. Let me check that. Okay. Can you see me now?
Yes.
All right. Thank you for that introduction. Great presentation by all the kids. This is the first time I'm attending this kind of GATS presentation. I'm really impressed with how the students have presented so far. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak here. So we'll get straight on. Can everybody see my presentation as well?
Not yet.
No, it just went away.
Oh, it went away? Okay.
When you are presenting, you need to turn on the camera too. So the automatically camera will be disabled when you're sharing something. So you need to go on the right top middle of the screen and select the camera option.
Sure.
You should be able to see the screen share option. Ram, are you able to see that?
It's next to the chat in between.
Yeah, I know it came earlier. I use Zoom all the time, but it disappeared.
Maybe if you minimize the screen or something, maybe it's in full screen mode.
Yeah. Usually the bar comes, and I'm usually in the presenter host mode. That's what I'm used to in Zoom. I think.
So Mahi or Pavitra, would you be able to make him the host?
Yeah, let me do it. Let me make him a co-host.
Okay, thank you.
Ram, you are a co-host, Ram. Okay.
Right.
Let me try now. Do you have multiple screens?
So am I the host now?
You are a co-host, and do you have multiple screens?
I closed everything else.
Can you share only this particular screen that you are going to share instead of sharing the entire desktop?
Yeah, I'm on the presentation only. It's not giving that bar. I actually did, it just came a few minutes back, which I did now. Bar, the Zoom bar doesn't come.
Okay, so Mr. Ram, would you like to rejoin again? Probably we can ask Ms. Robin to go next, and then you can present after Ms. Robin. Would that be okay?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine too.
Thank you.
Okay, so Miss Robin Zhu will be presenting about targeted college preparation. Miss Robin Zhu is the C2 Center Director at C2 Education Coming and is also a college counselor. Miss Robin has 12 years of teaching experience as both a tutor and a mentor to students who are looking for self-driven aspirations. She has helped thousands of students enter prestigious universities worldwide, such as Stanford University, Columbia University, Cornell University, Sydney University. The London School of Economics and Political Science, and much more. Miss Robin believes that every student can succeed in his or her full potential by learning how to learn. This is a lifelong skill that not only applies to education in college, but future career success. Please welcome Miss Robin Zhu.
Hi everyone, my name is Robin. I'm the Center Director of C2 Education of Coming. Very nice to meet you. And today, actually, I really appreciate this opportunity because I also learned a lot from those amazing students. So I'm going to share something about how to prepare for target colleges, especially with what are the crucial factors for college application. So before we move on to the next part, I want to ask you guys a question. So what do you think is the #1 priority for college application? And before we move on to that part, I wanted to picture some scenario. For example, like 3 candidates want to apply for Harvard Business School, and Harvard gave each one of them $1,000 to start with and to see who can generate the most money. So candidate A came back with $2,000, and B came back with $3,000, and C came back with $4,000. So who do you think Harvard would pick? I believe everybody would say C because he brought most money. Yes, that's true, but actually Harvard picked the one with the highest GPA. All right, so I know it's kind of a lame joke, but what I'm really to point out is based on this importance chart. So GPA and course trigger will be the #1 factor, crucial factor for your college application. It's really easy to understand GPA because that's the consistency about your academic performance throughout your high school, and still like to see if you can handle these classes, you can keep perfect GPA and by not missing any single quizzes and tests. But why course rigor? Because a lot of students that struggle, okay, should I take on-level classes by getting all A's, or should I take AP classes but challenge myself a little bit? So which one should I go? All right, so if you're targeting tier 1 school or Ivy League, or just like Georgia Tech is super competitive right now. If you're targeting for those schools, I would say the optimal scenario is always to get A in your AP or IB classes. Why? Because for course trigger, we all know like AP and IB classes, they're college level classes. And if you can take that one, that's another way to tell the college admissioner you're willing to step out of your comfort zone. You're ready to embrace all the pressures and challenge in high school and in college. So that's another way to show you are the high achiever and you're on an advanced track. And also, if you already get a recommendation from your counselor, for example, like all the APs, that's another way to tell yourself your counselor trusts you and they trust your potential to handle this class in high school. So why don't you just get out of your comfort zone? Because 20 years from now, you will regret about things you didn't do rather than the things you did do. Okay, and I know another question, maybe a lot of parents and students want to ask me is like, how many APs or IBs should I take in high school to get qualified for tier 1 school colleges? So there's no specific answer for that because each school is different based on their core setting, and technically just for AP classes is a little different. Like AP psychology and AP computer science are definitely easier than AP calculus and AP physics. So it's really up to your student. But if you can get that opportunity and take APs, I would say go ahead and take it because you can know that. Okay, so these two are definitely number one, and we can compromise other things whatsoever on these two factors. All right. Number 3 is followed by SAT and ACT. Okay, so I know Mr. Ram is going to give a lot of explanation on this part, so I will just give you a short introduction, especially with the most popular questions recently. So I know parents all heard about the rumors for, okay, those schools, they say SAT or ACT are getting test optional or test flexible. So what does it mean? Do I still to take SAT or ACT? I would say because first of all, there's no magic formula for your college application, okay? It's all up to the college admissioner, their discretion. And it's all about how you can differentiate yourself from other candidates. So SAT for ACT, for example, like what if you want to apply for Georgia Tech without any SAT score, but other candidates, they can submit like 1580 or above for that SAT score. Somehow you lose your strengths in your college application. Even the school say we're getting test optional, you wanted to, get a better performance. And another reason I would strongly recommend a student to think about this center test, because I personally have been tutoring SAT and ACT for over 10 years. And it's pretty common to see, okay, straight A students get perfect GPA, but somehow they struggle with SAT. Because it's so hard to increase SAT or ACT score like for 300 or 400 points within like short time, because those two tests are very complicated. It has a wider range. Like it ranges from the knowledge you learn from middle school, for example, like pre-algebra, and in high school, you're going to learn algebra 1, 2, and geometry. So it's all about consistency. They wanted to make sure you got a solid grasp in the previous learned knowledge. So that's the point you want to go with SAT and ACT, even they're test optional, okay? And so number 4 is called SAT subject test. So this one, I'm not sure everybody is familiar with that. So SAT subject test apparently is still provided by College Board, which is the SAT provider. And if you are hesitating, should I take SAT subjects or not? Okay, it's up to different year of students. For the rising seniors this year, due to the cancellation for SAT and ACT, I would say it's kind of optional. But for the class of 2022 or 2023, like for those like juniors and rising juniors and sophomores, I would say yes. Because if you Google SAT subject test, are they required for the college application, especially like Georgia Tech or like UGA, those type of schools? Even they tell you it's optional, but it's kind of their game. It's like a wink, wink, it's required. So you wanted to take it. Why? You still want to know why. 2 reasons. First of all, SAT subject is only 1 hour, all multiple choices. It's kind of like the subject test, apparently. So you can pick whatever you are confident with. For example, if you think I'm very strong in math and very strong in history, you can go ahead and take it because like no harm for doing that, right? And the second reason you want to take it because it's related to your preferred major in college. I know like most popular majors in college right now, probably like business, computer science, and pre-med. For example, if you want to major in pre-med, you may want to take chemistry and biology for a subject test to show you can handle the related classes in college, okay? And computer science student, you may want to take math and physics, okay? So it's really up to your different preferred major in college. So it's always beneficial to have your career aspiration in mind a little bit earlier rather than knowing nothing, okay? If I ask you what I want to do in the future, you can say, I don't know. So it's going to be really hard for you to pick whatever the class in high school, especially on science track. So that's the benefits for doing SAT subject test, okay? Number 5, extracurricular activities. Apparently, what we are doing right now with GATS with tutoring program, this is a valuable platform for all the kids, to show their charisma and to see how we can support each other during the hardship. I really, really like this kind of activities, and that's the program you want to go for. And another thing for extracurricular activities, some kids may have like tons of advocacy activities, and they're all tied up by the schedule. But I would say, especially once you get into junior and senior year, you don't have enough time for activities. You wanted to narrow down them a little bit and to make sure it's all well angled rather than well rounded. So for example, if you want to major in medical school and you wanted to make sure all the engagement with your activities somehow related, kind of prioritized to medical route, that will be really beneficial for your applications because you're going to share a lot of interesting story for application form. Okay. So extracurricular activities, yes, and now it's like, I know it's a little bit hard because of all the pandemic, but everything gets better if you have more chances to get more involvement. I would strongly recommend everybody, just to show your charisma, especially when you can get a leadership role. All right, and last but not least, it's college essay. So college essay specifically, it's for rising seniors, especially this year, because a lot of SAT and ACT get canceled, and college essay can be a secret weapon. It's three-dimensional way to differentiate you from other candidates for you to shine through. And for college essay, I mean, a lot of students may think it's easy, it's just an essay, and I can put whatever I want to put as same as my resume, or I'm so proud about something, I can put it in an essay. No, because college essay is different from your resume or whatever the information you put on your college application form. Because the point for college essay is how to share a touching story. Okay, how to just kind of like to motivate a college admissioner, by sharing some stories behind the scene. So that's the point. Like, you wanted to really think about what are the touching moments in your life based on your previous experience. So overall, these are the crucial factors for college application, but each student is different based on their different backgrounds and based on your different target colleges. But I can give you another example. For example, I know most of you guys may be interested about course rigor and GPA, and I can show you two different tracks for if you want to targeting for like Georgia Tech UGA, or if you want to targeting for tier 1 school like Harvard or Yale or Stanford, that type of schools. Okay, so this is the very typical math track. Okay, I know it looks a little bit confusing. I'll give you a little bit introduction here. So let's take a look at, so the numbering here, vertically, numbering here, that's the math class you're gonna start with. So horizontally, those are based on different grades. So if you were targeting for like Georgia Tech, you may want to think about, take a reference out of the second row or the third row, which means it's always good to start with Algebra 2 on 8th grader, okay, on 8th grade. And you can, and as a freshman in high school, you wanted to take geometry, and 10th grade, you want to take Algebra 2. And so that 11th grade, you can take pre-calc and jump into AP Calc on 12th grade. That's why I was saying the optimal scenario is to take AP and get A's in your AP class. At least you should take one AP on your math track if you are targeting for Georgia Tech, because it's very tech savvy, and you want to major in computer science or biology or medical route. You want to take at least one AP on your math track, okay? But if you want to say like Stanford, okay, we all know Stanford is incredibly competitive. You may want to think about, okay, the third row or the last row in here. So which means on 11th grade or even 10th grade, it's always beneficial, because I've met some student, he's a sophomore and he's already taking AP Calc on 10th grade, so that he can jump into another AP Calc BC on 11th grade, and he will be qualified for Georgia Tech math, that's for dual enrollment, on 12th grade. So that will give him tremendous benefits as a, just a strong candidate for Stanford or MIT, those type of schools. So that's, this is the perfect, chart to explain why you want to get on a harder track. You want to take harder classes because it will give you more benefits for your college application. So I have to say 10th grade and 11th grade, these 2 years are the most important in your high school, because if you are thinking about competitive schools, you may want to go with early application, which is deadline almost like about October and November. So that's why that makes your 10th grade and 11th grade GPA and course record the most important factors, because they can't see your transcript from 12th grade the first semester. All right. So yeah, I'll just give you a kind of a wrap up about what I just discussed. So GPA and course rigor, #1 priority for your college application, especially no matter you're targeting for like Georgia Tech or Ivy League, as long as they're competitive. So you have to make sure you are able to take harder classes and still get higher GPA, which means you can't just ignore any simple quizzes and tests in school, especially with a virtual environment right now. I know it's pretty challenging, but you definitely need to think about how you can organize your time out of school and how you can, be more efficient. Okay, and then start with your SAT or ACT a little bit earlier. And try to think about what SAT subject tests you can take. And the best time for SAT subject tests you can take is always June, because right after your AP exams, it's kind of killing two birds with one stone. You don't have to spend a lot of time, but still it will give you extra credit. So why not, right? And extracurricular activities. So we have so many opportunities, so such a great platform that you can join, and then followed by college essay. All right. So yeah, I know it's a lot of information we need to digest, but if you have any more questions, so you're welcome to email me or contact me. Sorry, I'm going to share this one again. Okay, so this is my contact info. You can simply Google C2 Education Coming, or you can give us a call at 770-292-9000, or simply shoot us an email at coming@c2educate.com. All right, thank you. That's all on my plate. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Robin. Now we're going to go back to Mr. Ram Yaleti.
All right. Can you all see me on my screen now?
Yes, we can see it.
All right. Sorry about that last time. And thank you, Ms. Robin, for the presentation. So let's get started. So I think several of our presenters, including Ms. Robin Zhu and some of the students, talked about SAT and ACT. So I'll dwell a little bit more initially into the test themselves, the structure of the tests, what subjects are covered, how are they scored, etc. And I think a lot of you, I've seen some of the questions coming up about during the pandemic, what is the impact, etc. So I will cover that as well, and how to prepare for SAT, ACT later in the presentation. So what is SAT? I think most of you probably know it, but I'll quickly go through it. It's a standardized test for college admission in the United States. Now, some of the international universities also started accepting it. And within the United States, or even international students can take it anytime during the academic year. It's offered multiple times, and it can be taken multiple times too. And if you do take multiple times, College Board will send the highest score to the universities. Some universities also accept what is known as a super score, wherein if you get a higher score in math during one test and higher score in English, reading and writing in a different test, and they will take the sum of the two higher scores. And that depends on the university. And for this year, well, there was one yesterday, August 29th. The next set of tests coming up, there's one on September 26th, October 3rd, November 7th, December 5th, March 13th, May 8th, and June 5th. That's for this academic year. One can take any of these ones. I highlighted a couple of them in bold letters for those who are at this time looking at seriously some of the dates probably most useful. Of course, those who are in senior and could not take it in the last few months because since March, all the tests got canceled. Yesterday's was the first one that happened after several months. And even for that, some centers got canceled. Right? So there are more dates introduced. October 3rd, for example, is within a week of September 26th. So seniors probably would need to take soon, either a September, October test to have the scores in place for this year admission. But if you're a junior, probably you want a little bit more time to prep. So December 5th will be a good date. And if you are nowadays many sophomores and even freshmen take it, and for them probably you can prepare for the whole year in a long-term kind of preparation. And by the May, most school exams will be over, including AP exams, and then you can take it in June. So those are some of the dates. What are the subject areas in SAT? Math, and within English you have evidence-based reading and writing and language. The essay is optional. So what does it mean to be optional? So often you get questions on should I take it or not? What does optional really mean? So for SAT or ACT for that matter, you would need to go to College Board website or ACT website and apply yourself. The high school doesn't do for you. So you can apply for any of the tests. So you select the date and select the center, nearby high school center. And at the time, you would select whether you want to take essay or not. Now, some colleges and some majors would require essay and some may not require. So as Ms. Robbins explained, you would apply for college in the senior year fall. Oh, so you don't see my slide, subject areas in SAT? Somebody said...
No, we can't see them. We still see the first slide.
All right, that's interesting. So in the presentation mode, do you see now?
Yeah, we are on the second slide.
Okay, so I guess when it's in the presentation mode, it was not progressing. All right, so I'll keep it in this mode. This should be fine. I'll just maximize this and keep it in this mode. Okay. So you'll probably apply for 6 to 8 colleges when you're in your senior year. So some colleges require and some may not require. So when you're taking SAT in junior or sophomore or even a freshman, right, you may not know all the colleges and the majors that you'll be applying for. So it would be good to take essay unless you are very sure where you are applying for. And if the college does not require, then you don't need to. But in general, would want to take it just in case you apply for some colleges that would require an essay. So how does this SAT test look like? So there are 5 sections including essay. They always come in this order. First reading, then writing and language. Then math has 2 sections, the one without calculator and the one with calculator. So reading has 52 questions and 65 minutes. So that's a little bit over a minute per question, about 75 seconds. Writing and language, 44 questions and 35 minutes, a little bit less than a minute per question. Math, again, a little bit more than a minute per question, 20 questions and 25 minutes and 38 questions and 55 minutes. The optional essay has 50 minutes. A total test time of 3 hours and 50 minutes. But the actual test time will be more because there will be breaks between the tests. There are breaks between the sections, and also it's always on a Saturday morning. So you'll be asked to come before 8 a.m. and the test probably starts around 9 a.m. And then you have over 4 hours. So it's a long test. So it's a test of your endurance as much as your test of knowledge, skills, and intelligence. So some of the precautions, some of the things that you want to make sure you do before going for the test. Have a good breakfast. You can certainly carry some snacks, water, juice. You are allowed to consume them during the breaks. Sleep well the previous night, because it's a long test. You don't want to be tired in the middle of the test. Probably sleep well for previous 2 nights, right? You would be preparing most of what you need well before the test. So make sure you're well rested. You carry some snacks and water, etc. And you're well prepared for the test. So how does the score look like? Everybody's familiar with the 1600 score on SAT. So that's 800 on math, the 2 sections combined, and 800 on reading and writing combined. Essay is graded separately, so it is not part of the 1600 because it's optional. It has 3 components. On each of them, you graded on a max score of 8 each. Essay is the only portion that is graded by human beings, by actually 2 English teachers separately, anonymous English teachers, and then they're added to get the score of 8, 8, and 8, 24. Math, reading, and writing are completely graded by machines. So most of them are multiple choice questions. In fact, in reading and writing, all the questions are multiple choice. In math, majority are multiple choice. There are a few grading questions, which are like a short answer question. They're always a number less than 10,000. So it's always a 4-digit or less. It can be a fraction or a decimal as well. So, but you will actually fill the grade. So they're all graded by machine. Now, we have seen that the actual questions are, like in case of math, there are 58 questions. In case of English, there are 96 questions. So how are we getting this 800 or 1600 scale? So that's where the curve comes in. So in a particular test, they take all the students who appeared for the test, and then they're curved on a bell curve, or technically what's a normalized curve, well, popularly known as bell curve. Then the lowest score is 200. It's not 0. And typical, and this is generalized curve. Don't take too much into the percentages. This is theoretical percentages. The real numbers could vary slightly from test to test. The median score is around 500. That is about 50% of the students got lesser than that score, and about 50% more got more than that score. That's usually around 500, but it can vary from test to test depending on how difficult or how easier it is. And if you get a 58 in math, or sometimes even a 57 or less, right, depending on the test, you could still get a perfect score of 800. And then as the score, so around 500, you'll see a lot of students closest to the median, and as you go to either side, it will go down. So it's always good to know how it works. So I've been and our team has been coaching SAT for a long time, or a decade, and what I find is that you would obviously need to know the subject well. You would need to also know the test strategies and preparation. But the students who are often anxious don't give their best. So if you know the test well, if you know how exactly it works and what type of questions come, and you don't go with any anxiety, you just go calm and take the test as it comes, right? then you would give your best performance. So it's always good to know how the test works as well. So that's about the SAT. I'll come back to the preparation and the pandemic toward the end. So we'll spend a few minutes on PSAT and then ACT. So PSAT is another term often confused. We get often questions on PSAT, pre-SAT, PSAT, how does it work? So there are two PSATs. There is one regular PSAT, sometimes also referred to as PSAT 1011 or NMSQT, which stands for National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. It is a practice test administered at the high schools by the College Board. It's always in the month of October. This year we have to wait and watch. I think it's announced for October, but if everything goes as planned, they will happen in October. This is primarily as a practice test for high school students. Almost every high school in the country conducts it for the 10th and 11th graders. Some high schools even conduct it for 9th graders. It is up to the high school. And its primary purpose is practice. I'll come to why is it called NMSQT in the next slide. The PSAT 8-9, on the other hand, is a relatively recently introduced test. It is a practice test for 8th and 9th graders. So it's a little bit easier than SAT and PSAT. And some of the harder concepts like in math, trigonometry, complex numbers, and some of the higher order, what SAT calls passport to advanced math. Some of the higher order ones in Algebra 2 are not included. Similarly, reading passages are a little bit easier as well, because these are primarily meant for 8th and 9th graders. So some high schools conduct it for 9th graders, some middle schools conduct for 8th graders. It is not as widely available as PSAT itself, but more and more high schools and middle schools are making this available. The PSAT test, unlike SAT, you cannot directly register on the College Board website and take. It has to be taken through the high school. There is one exception for PSAT 8-9. I'll come to that in a couple of minutes. So those are the two types of PSAT. So the regular PSAT is pretty much similar to SAT, except that it is a little bit shorter and it does not have essay. Whereas the PSAT 8-9 is not only even more shorter than PSAT, but it is also a little bit easier. So some of the harder concepts are taken out. So the structure of the test is pretty much similar as SAT, but fewer questions. So PSAT has, instead of 1600, it is out of 1520. Math maximum 760 and reading and writing 760, and there is no essay. PSAT 8-9, on the other hand, is even shorter. It has 720 on math and 720 on reading and writing. And again, as I said, the structure is pretty much similar: reading, writing and language, math without calculator, math with calculator. There are fewer questions and a slightly shorter time, no essay in both of them. Okay, and actual time will be more than what is quoted here because of the breaks. So what is ACT? So ACT is another standardized test for college admission. Currently, almost every college is accepting both of them. Historically speaking, SAT was much older. It's almost 100 years old, and that was the only one available at that time. And that was offered by College Board, which is a non-profit organization based in New Jersey. ACT started a little bit later. It is started by an organization called ACT.org, which is an offshoot of University of Iowa. And in the initial days, ACT was more popular in the Midwest, and SAT was more popular in East Coast and West Coast. But today, almost every college accepts both of them. I think someone talked about common data sets. If you Google for a common data set for any university, you will find a lot of information, like their median and 25th percentile and 75th percentile of this course required, etc. But they will also tell whether only SCT is accepted, only ACT is accepted, or both are accepted. As I said, most colleges accept both nowadays. Pandemic, of course, some colleges make them optional. I'll talk again more about that in the last slide. So it's offered again multiple times. So this year, academic year dates, I put it over there, but if you just Google for the dates, you will find them. September 12th, there's one coming up on September 12th, 13th, and 19th. In fact, because many of them are canceled, they are offering multiple tests over the next couple of months. And then you have later in the winter and next spring. So how does ACT test look like? So it has 5 sections too, except the difference here is there is only one section for math. They combined both into one, and then essay is optional. And the science is a additional one. Although it is science, it does not really test as much the knowledge of science. It's more interpretation of scientific information. So to that extent, it's somewhat similar to reading. Sometimes you can have graphs or charts or tables, but being able to comprehend scientific information and answer questions. So one glaring difference, often the question often comes is SAT versus ACT, which one is better, right? So one thing that you can see if you see the number of questions and time. English has 75 questions and 45 minutes. By the way, the English in ACT is equal to the writing and language in SAT. The math, there's 60 questions and 60 minutes. Reading has 40 questions and 35 minutes. Science has 40 questions and 35 minutes. If you see the time per question in ACT is a little bit less compared to SAT, right? So if math, for example, is exactly 1 minute per question, whereas SAT has more than 1 minute per question. So is reading and writing. In English, both of them have less than 1 minute per question, but ACT is much more time constrained. So they're both time constrained, but ACT is relatively more time constrained compared to SAT. So that's one difference. So if you're good with time management and can finish well in time, right? So maybe relatively you will be at an advantage if you take ACT. But if you struggle more with time, ACT might be a little bit harder. This question, is it one better than the other in terms of getting accepted? Not really. They both are almost equally accepted by, in fact, every single university is accepted. You can always check the common data set if there is any difference, but there's no difference really. It is really in terms of the student's own comfort level. And again, it varies, can vary from student to student. There is another difference is SAT tends to be a little bit more critical thinking compared to ACT, where the questions are more school type questions. So that's another difference. But again, it depends on the student. If you have additional questions, you can definitely send me questions toward the. So in the last slide, I have my contacts. I know usually I conduct this kind of a webinar hour and a half or so. In fact, I'm doing another webinar at 5 p.m. EST today for hour and a half. So if any of you want to lot more detail, you can. If you go to Facebook and search for Maths Academy, you will find the link if anyone wants more details, or you can just email me. But it's for any individual question. It depends on the student, on how well they do on the time, as well as are they more comfortable with school type questions versus critical thinking questions. ACT on a score of 30, max score of 36. On each section, you will be scored on 36. Math, science, reading, and English. And the max score is actually an average of the 4 sections. Unlike SAT, which was a sum, ACT is average, and essay is still optional. So who uses SAT and ACT? It's primarily used for college admission, 9th to 12th graders. It's also used by certain talent identification programs, like Duke University has a program called Duke Tip, and Johns Hopkins has a program called CTY, Center for Talented Youth. So 7th and 8th graders can take SAT or ACT as a above grade test for no identifying gifted students. They invite for award ceremonies and make additional programs available. PSAT for 9th, 10th, 11th graders offered at high schools, as we said, its primary purpose is practice, but 11th grade has an additional significance. Based on the 11th grade score, one could be qualified for National Merit Scholarship. That's why it's called also National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test, NMSQT. So 11th grade one has additional significance. So if you have a junior, the one coming up in October is a critical test. PSAT 8-9 is offered at Midland High Schools, as I said, primarily for practice. And for Duke Tip program, 4th to 6th graders can take PSAT 8-9 as an above grade test. And certain private and magnet schools also use it for admission to the high school. So they conduct it for 8th or 7th graders and use it as an admission test for high schoolers. So how does one prepare? So one thing about both SAT and ACT are they're highly coachable, meaning with good practice and a structured learning program, one could raise scores by up to 200 to 400 points. The best free resource by far is Khan Academy. And by the way, especially for SAT, Khan Academy has a tie-up with College Board, so many of them are available. If you're a highly self-motivated student, that's probably a great tool. But if you need a more structured program, somebody who makes you accountable, and you want a structured program, there are several institutions available, including Maths Academy. In the current pandemic, we make it online, and the Princeton Review, Kaplan, and Robbins C2, all of us provide the structured learning program for SAT and ACT as well. So now, how does it impact this year and next year? So the first thing is a lot of tests got canceled during spring and summer. So some seniors were not able to take it. And to one, College Board and ACT have made more tests available, as is shown in the dates. But also some of the universities have made the tests optional. But also, I think that made it a little bit more complex because some universities still require it. But even those who made it optional, I think as Mr. Robin alluded to earlier, it's all relative, right? So there is a fixed number of seats at any college for admission, and you can only take so many seats. There are a lot of students who apply. So although it is optional, somebody who has taken it, got a great score, could have an advantage. So there are multiple factors like, if everything else is same, somebody who has a score could have an advantage. And also it has some scholarship implications, right? So it is 3:28 now. At this point, I think my presentation, this is my contact information if you want to contact me. At this point, I will hand over back to the organizers, and I'll be here if you have any other questions to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Romuletti, for that very informative presentation.
Thank you.
Now it's time for the Q&A session of today's program. If you have any questions, please type them in the chat box, and Sanjana Veerapanini and Nikita Rao will read them out. We'll read your questions out for our panel of experts. Sanjana, do we have the first question?
Yes. So the first question was actually already discussed for the SAT and ACT challenges during the pandemic, but the next question would be, can we exclude sports and instead choose any art?
Yes, obviously, you can do that. Art is basically like a sport, so just develop an art and make sure you're good at it, and do competitions in that too.
The audio was not that clear, Nikita. You might want to come closer to the mic.
I said art is basically like a sport, so there's no difference in art and a sport. So I would just recommend doing competitions and gaining experience in art and be good at what you're doing. That's basically it.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, isn't IB more useful to kids who wanted to go to international studies?
Yes. So IB, I wouldn't say is more useful for kids outside or inside. There's really not much of a difference, as most of the universities, or even in the US, are accepting both AP and IB. Like I said before, they're not going to prefer one over another. So there is no more useful or less useful in this situation. But IB for international studies would really matter, since I don't really think they would accept AP. Like I said before, University of Cambridge or Oxford that are international schools will most likely not accept AP. And I'm also aware that AP exams have DBQs, document-based questioning, and those are only for the history AP exams, like AP World History and AP US History. So those are just exams that test on history content.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, which SAT subjects tests do you suggest taking for the engineering pathway?
I would recommend for engineering and computer science related students to think about math and physics, especially for math. There are two different levels in SAT subject test. Math 1 is based on Algebra 2 and Math 2 is based on Pre-Calc. So you can decide on what classes you're taking this year and try to map out your timeline.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, since AP is the key, what happens to kids who are not able to be part of AP programs? What helps them get into the colleges they want?
I think that's a very good question. So if your kids are not taking any APs, it doesn't matter. But the most important thing is the college admissioner, they can see their gradual improvement. For example, I'm taking on level this year, but I will be taking like honor next year or jumping to AP on junior year. So the difference, like if you're taking on level, it will be harder for you to jump into AP next year because you almost have to keep perfect score. So you'll be prerequisite for AP. In that case, you can get a recommendation. So especially for senior and junior seniors, if you're not taking any APs, don't worry. And you have to think about taking, definitely I would recommend you think about SAT for sure, because that will give you like some extra credit from your academic background.
Thank you. The next question is, can you explain more about GT Math dual enrollment option? Is it available for juniors and seniors?
Okay, sorry. I'll take over that question as well. Sorry. Okay, so for that question, Georgia Tech dual enrollment. So most likely that's for a senior student because that would require your student to submit their transcript and their SAT score. That's why you may want to get started with SAT earlier. And your AP subject you want to pursue, whatever the subject you want to pursue in Georgia Tech in college. So you want to submit the AP exam score. So Georgia Tech enrollment has rigorous requirements. For example, even for SAT, I think the range, kind of score ranges from 1460, 1470 to 1550. So it's this higher bar for the qualification as the Georgia Tech dual enrollment. And if you want to search for more information, it's simply Google Georgia Tech dual enrollment for undergraduate, and you can get more details. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next question is, are essays needed for colleges like Georgia Tech or UGA?
Anjana, can you repeat your question, please?
Yes, Auntie. Are essays needed for colleges like Georgia Tech or UGA? And how many AP should I take to get into Georgia Tech or UGA?
Okay. So for how many APs, I think I answered that questions before. So it's really up to your different situation and up to like different course rigor. Like I said, AP calculus, everybody knows that's pretty hard, and AP physics 1, AP physics C, they're different. So I can't give you a specific number. It's up to your capability and your starting point. But for essay, I would say SAT and an ACT essay, definitely, like Mr. Rams explained, they're all built something optional. But if you're thinking about like, you know, a higher expectation, I would say yes, you definitely want to take them to show your capability with writing skills and your analytical skills, so you can present those skills in your essay part.
Thank you so much. So the next question is, does SAT coaching help in any way, or do you recommend using Khan Academy and other resources to study?
It's really depends on the student. So Khan Academy definitely helps. If you Khan Academy, like SAT or even for math or any other subject, right? It's a great resource, but it depends on the student whether they can make themselves accountable and can create a structured learning process for themselves. What I've seen with many students is they get started, and because it is like a ocean, right? There's so much stuff, then they get lost after some time. So for most students, can somebody go on mute, please?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So for most students, having a coach and a structured learning program helps. But it really depends on the students. If somebody is highly self-motivated, can make oneself accountable over a period of time, not just 1 or 2 weeks, then one can self-prepare as well. So it really depends on the student. But for most students, and also depends on the goal, I guess. If you want to really get a high score, it will get harder and harder without a coach, right? So if you have a very high goal of, if you want to go to Stanford or MIT, Harvard, and you want to get a really high score, and you are also taking a lot of other courses, having a coach will help you, make you accountable and provide you a structured path.
Thank you. The next question is hiring a counselor to target popular colleges worth the money?
Oh. Could you please repeat your question, Nikita?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The next question is hiring a counselor to target popular colleges really worth the money?
I would say it's up to your different situations. So first of all, you have to make sure you get everything ready for the, like those selective schools, especially with your academic performance. That's the most important key. And then the counselor will help you to, strategically map out like what type of tier schools you want to target with, your dream school, target school, and safety school. And based on like your preferred major, because we know like better, for example, computer science, Georgia Tech's #7 in the country. And apart from like University of Washington, and of course, like we know like Carnegie Mellon, then John Hopkins, those type of schools. So you really have to make a strategic plan for your target school. So that's why the counselor can help you to give you a better suggestion based on your preferred major and preferred college and your current situation.
Thank you. The next question is, can you recommend some counselors or agencies we can work with during the application process?
I think you're seeing one, Miss Robin is one of them. But there are a lot of other, almost, if you look at Princeton Review, Kaplan, C2, Maths Academy, there are many many agencies out there, you probably want to do some research and see your budget and your goal, right? Are you really looking for a highly prestigious colleges, or are you looking for in-state, out-of-state? Based on that, you could select one. But there are many available. If you just Google research, you'll find many sources.
Okay. The next question is, how much do FBLA and Beta Club help?
Like the other clubs, FBLA and Beta, they help in high school a lot, especially when you do competitions in them, like SLC, one of the major competitions in high school. And if you win, if you go to like regionals, nationals, or something like that, it will be recognized in your college essays. You can write about it, or you can put it in your application.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, what extracurricular activities do colleges prefer?
Normally, probably internships, and probably competitions and leader positions that you gain in like clubs or teams.
Ms. Robin, would you like to add to that answer?
Yeah, I think that that's really exactly what I'm trying to say. And also, like I said, so for extracurricular activities at FBLA, I think those are great resources. If you can get a literal, I know it's challenging for a freshman and sophomore, but once you get a junior year, if you can get literal in whatever the clubs you're in, that will be better to show your charisma and how you can influence other people. And also for internship, that's really tricky because especially for high schoolers, like there are not a lot of opportunity for us high schoolers get, an upskill internship. So I would say it's really up to your resources, but you can go to, for example, like in Atlanta, we have Emory. They sometimes offer some internship. You just need to check on their website. And, it's because now I know you guys, especially the younger generation, and really tech savvy. So you can simple Google and everything, the possible internship in this area. So because we don't have like anything like everything set in stone, and we don't have any reliable resources for that, but it's really up to your different resources. I would recommend parents, if you guys know some doctors and clinics that can offer the internship for your kids, that would be good. And if you can, go to some summer school and get involved into the lab, getting enough exposure to the college level type of courses and keep the relationship with the professors in your preferred college, that will be wonderful.
Thank you.
Sure.
Next question is ACT versus SAT. Is one better than the other in terms of getting accepted? And which one would you suggest, or should we try both?
As I said earlier, not really. They both are equally accepted by almost every university. It really depends on the student. Many students take both one at a time, not necessarily at the same time, right? Different time, because you will need to prepare a little bit and then you will get an idea. But also it depends on the student. So if you talk to someone who has been doing that, you can talk to, I certainly advise a lot of students on which one is better. It depends on their relative ease with critical thinking versus more direct school type questions. Their time management skills will impact to an extent, or you can take a practice test of one of each and see which one is better suited. So it really depends on the student, but from a college perspective, both are equally accepted.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, how big of a difference will there be between online and in-person classes in regards to course rigor and things like that?
So if you, again, if I'm assuming this is a question about, well, let me take it in two ways. One is if it is for schools, right, you don't have a choice. In some counties, only one is opted, and some counties, both options are available in Georgia. So it's, I think, more of a safety consideration. But the question is about preparing for SAT, ACT, or one of the courses. Today, online is as effective as on site. A few years back, probably that wasn't the case. Today's tools are very mature. They can make it very interactive. The whiteboards are as good as the real whiteboards, and there's some advantages as well in online. So there's really not as much difference. It can also be dependent on the student. For most students, there is not much difference. But I have seen some students who cannot focus, especially if it is a group class. They cannot focus on a computer, might get more benefited in an in-person class. But for most students, online is as good as on-site.
Thank you. What are the various opportunities for extracurriculars for high schoolers?
Like, go ahead.
Okay, so you can just search it up on Google, really. Along with clubs in the high school, it's also an advantage to look for organizations outside of the school and get leadership roles outside of there also for more opportunities if you can't get some in the school. Along with just like clubs, consistency also matters. Like I think Nikita said that in her presentation about consistency, stick with 2 or 3 clubs and have a leader role. So you show perseverance to colleges that you're really interested in this extracurricular activity. And there are no specific sets to this extracurricular activities. It could just be anything that you're interested in. So look for other organizations outside of the school and show your outside of school involvement in extracurriculars.
Nikita, would you like to add to that?
Like Rainisha said, like leadership roles and volunteer hours is also another huge role. So if you want recognition in volunteer hours, I would also put time and effort towards that too. Like at the end of the year, your college, your school, like kind of like a recognition medal or depending on how much volunteer hours you have. You can check the school website for that information.
Okay, thank you so much. The next question is, what subjects or courses are important for prep for the business major?
For business major, I would say, first of all, math and English for sure. And I will also, because business major students will, they are supposed to have a strong capability of data analysis. I would say statistics and history, because history is definitely a lot of reading, and it will give business major students better, accumulation to give, just by expression and presentation. So I would say history, math and statistics, these 3 classes will be really useful. But if you want to get more accurate answers, I would recommend everybody to go to College Board Big Future. Simply Google College Board Big Future. Once you get in that page and type in whatever the major you're interested in, will lead you to the specific class they would recommend you to take in high school and what kind of AP recommendations that will give you a thorough perspective.
Thank you so much. The next question is, can someone take the SAT subject test alone, like for Math 2 before junior year?
Absolutely, absolutely. So you can't not take both SAT and SAT subject on the same day, but you can take subject tests whenever you're ready. It's the same testing day with SAT.
Thank you so much. The next question is, for class rank, what role does this play in college application? Is it important to be within a certain percentage?
Ms. Robin, do you want to take that?
You can go ahead if you, Ms. Robin, I think you're going to go ahead and answer that. Thank you.
Yeah, so it definitely helps, especially if you are applying for highly prestigious universities. It would certainly help to be in a top few percentage or a particular rank. Those are usually not published, but well, so many universities, prestigious universities, look at how many valedictorians that they have, right? But there can only be one valedictorian per school. But you can, being in a top certain percentile will certainly play a role for highly prestigious universities. So it depends on the kind of university you want to go. And but I think the number one factor, as Ms. Robin said, is GPA and the course rigor. And the rank often goes with that, right? So it's an indirect indicator that no, you got a very good GPA and maintained it consistently.
And based on the common data set, what Vipisha showed, she said that for UGA, the class rank isn't even considered at all. So
yeah, it usually plays into role for like highly prestigious universities. For most colleges, it that may not play such a big role. But if you are looking for Stanford, MIT, Harvard, Princeton, again, they don't necessarily need to publish, right? It is always a complex equation, the selection process. It is always, where in highly prestigious universities, what happens is you need to select a few out of many equally good students, right? Where they have all good GPA, they all got good test scores, great essays. Essays probably is the one of the biggest differentiating factors. I've talked to many students who got into prestigious universities, and if I ask them, what do you think personally for you made a huge difference, many of them say the personal essay, right? Because there are many other students who got a very good GPAs, are in the top percentages, or got good test scores. But then one thing that can stand out, make you unique, is personal essay. And you can't do it overnight. I think the writing skills, the critical thinking and writing skills you need to build over a period of time. That's a huge factor.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're only going to be taking questions for another few more minutes. And at 3:55, we will be concluding the program.
Thank you. The next question is, do you recommend kids taking the PSAT from 8th grade?
Yeah, I think the whole concept of PSAT is to give a early introduction and practice for SAT. So yeah, I think it definitely worth taking. Again, it's not necessarily for all students. The students who are ahead of their grades and doing well, doing advanced or accelerated courses, definitely it's worth taking it. And if you're a 7th or 8th grader and want to prepare for, want to give a shot for Duke Tape or Johns Hopkins CTY, you would actually need to take SAT or ACT, not PSAT. PSAT is for prep. For 5th or 6th graders can take PSAT 8-9 as for Duke Tape. But if you just purely practice, yeah, you can certainly take PSAT 8-9 during 8th grade or 7th grade, if the school offers. But if you want to go through Duke Tape, you can only 5th or 6th graders have to go to the Duke Tape website to register for it. Or 7th or 8th graders need to go to Duke Tape website to apply for SAT or ACT. But if you have any questions, you can always email me or just Google for it.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, what is the difference between ACT and SAT, and do different colleges prefer one over the other?
I think we already discussed that, Nikita.
Okay.
Is that all, Nikita?
The rest are personalized questions, and if anyone has any personalized questions, feel free to email any of the people who presented today, or feel free to email the GATS Education Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikita.
Oh yeah, sorry. We got in one more question that's not really like personalized. It's just in general. I don't know if it was exactly answered or not, but it said, what things will be useful for studying abroad, more specifically in the UK?
Okay, I'll answer that question, I guess. Like I said, mostly IB exams, they'll definitely take, like University of Cambridge is in the UK. So University of Cambridge will definitely look at the IB exams. And if the school doesn't offer IB, and just with AP, you can still try applying to like the UK schools. But it would probably be like way harder to probably get into those universities internationally. And finance also matters because usually international schools will not provide scholarships for students in the US. It's like really hard to get those scholarships. So definitely finance is like a really big deal. And even for like Ivy League schools to get in, finance really matters. So yeah, that's one of the big factors.
One more thing, for those of you with personalized questions who are looking for the email ID, this whole presentation will be available through a recording. It's the same link as the YouTube live, so you can always go back through the presentation and if you want the meeting slides, the presentation slides, feel free to email the GATS tutoring email ID to get the presentation slides.
Thank you, Nita, and thank you, Sanjana. And big thank you to all of our experts that have presented today. Still have any questions, this is the email ID that Nikita was gats-tutoring@ga.org. And also follow Facebook for any updates about programs such as this. Thank you everybody for coming.
We would like to give
shout outs to all these people. This presentation could not have been done without the volunteers on the youth education committee, as well as Sanjana.
Ashwath, your audio quality is not good. Yeah. So Shreya, would you like to continue?
Yes. So, oh, it's not shared anymore, but I'll just say what it was about. But we just want to give a big thank you to everyone who is in the Youth Education Committee, as well as Varshini Sudhakar for making the flyer, Sanjana Veerapaneni and Nikita Rao for helping us with the questions to help with anyone who had any questions about the answers, Mr. Rami Aleti from Mathis Academy, Mr. Robin Zhu from C2 Education, and the GATS Youth Technology and EC team. Now I'll let Kritika Auntie say a few words.
Thank you, Ashwath and Shreya, for conducting the presentation so well. And I'll join you guys, and I'd like to give a big shout out to all the children who presented today, and especially to Ms. Robin and Mr. Ram for joining us on a Sunday afternoon and presenting valuable information with us. And I would also like to extend my thanks to the GATS Technology Committee and invite Mahendran and Pavitra from GATS Tech team to share a few words with us. Thank you. Mahendran, are you there?
Yes, Kritika.
Okay.
I would like to start by thanking all the GATS Youth Education Committee volunteers in sharing the treasure trove of information today. Kudos to all of you guys and GATS. I'd like to thank Ms. Zhu and Mr. Aleti for spending their time and helping the kids to understand the process and to prepare for the college. Mathis Academy has always been a great supporter of GATS by offering their infrastructure and place for medical clinics. I really appreciate it, Mr. Ram. And I'd like to thank and appreciate Kritika and team for putting up a wonderful session and an event. What to say about Kritika? You have always like Kritika is a person who brings in her professional experience in the volunteering service and always keep raising the bar for fellow volunteers like us. And GATS is really lucky to have you as a volunteer, and we'd like to work with you. And then I'd like to thank an equally encouraging GATS President Jay Sarthi. Thanks, Jay, for helping us materialize all our ideas into programs and events like this. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Mahindran. Pavitra, would you like to share a few words?
Hi, Kritika. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me here in the first place. This is such an insightful and very, very resourceful presentation today. Like you said, a great shout out to all the kids who have participated here at this event, as well as who have put in their heart and soul to bring this on to the table today. I can see there is like tremendous effort and energy that I see from the kids here, and taking education so seriously and paying so much of importance to minute details and willing to help other friends, who are in the line of moving in their aspects of education in life, like pursuing from middle school to high school. So great efforts, guys. And then you people are the heroes of the day, and you really made it very beautiful. And thank you, each and every one of you. I don't want to name anybody and not miss out on having missed out on a few of them. So each and every one of you. And special thanks to Ms. Robin Zhu as well as Mr. Ramya Leti, especially on a Sunday afternoon, to spend more than 2 hours here for all of us. It means a lot. And on behalf of GATS, I would like to thank everyone who has put in tremendous effort. I mean, I can really say how tremendous this has been. I've been listening to each and every one, and I'm sure, Kritika, like Mahindran said, you would have like kind of worked a lot of hours in getting this so thoroughly. So thank you so much for doing that. And thanks to Ram, Padma, and Mahi, who keep working behind scenes in getting all the technology aspects taken care of. I mean, it's not been easy with the pandemic situation around, despite the challenges that we've had. The technology team has been doing a great show. So thank you guys once again for making this possible. Thanks to Pungudi for encouraging all the young kids and young talents. And she's always there making sure that the kids are taken care of. So thanks, Pungudi, for doing that. And thanks to Jay and all the leaders in GATS who make sure that such events keep happening. And I can definitely assure that this is not going to be the end of it, right? This is just the beginning. So more such programs are thought for, and I'm sure Kritika will come with more interesting ideas. And I'm looking forward to it as a parent as well as a GATS volunteer in whatever way that I could be of help here. So congratulations and all the very best for everybody who's attended the event. And special thanks to the parents and children who have patiently waited with us. And I hope all your questions have been answered. Do reach out to us if you have anything. And all the best, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pavitra. Before I turn it over to Jay, I just want to thank Jay, as well as all the EC members in our team, and especially the youth committee, Mr. Sendil, Mr. Ramki, and Pungudi, because of their initiative of forming the youth committee. We are a part of it, the education subcommittee. So I've got the opportunity to work with so many kids. So I'm really thankful for that experience. So Jay, would you like to share a few words?
Oh yeah, sure. Like it's kind of like very mind-blowing event. This is the second session we are doing in this year. And I want to, before talk something about this event, I want to invite Sendil Karpannan from a BOD and then Ramki from BOD. If anyone in there in the BOD, like Erilan Ramarajan, Parani, or Bhaskar, or Prakash, you can come and say some few words from BOD perspective. I would like to invite Sendil Karpannan and Ramki. I saw them.
Thanks, Jay.
Oh yeah, come, Sendil.
Thank you. So yeah, as most, this is a wonderful event, and as Jay said, this is the second, and this first one completely run and organized by the kids, the high school kids. So as most of you are aware that there is enough colleges in the US to get seats for everyone. But the question is that, do we want to go to the college in some remote area, may not have much recognition? At the same time, do we want to do a degree that is not marketable, like maybe left-handed puppetry? which nobody cares, or there is no special jobs for those. So we are all interested in few courses and special colleges that everybody recognizes and knows. So the question is how to get into that. And most of the parents, we know that we came from like country like India, where the education system was a little bit different than here. So as you see, there are multiple aspects, as Ms. Robin explained, to getting into a college. So the preparation starts from the middle school when the kid is in the 8th grade. So you need to know how to navigate the high school if you want to really get into a very good college, right? So that's the one aspect. And the second one is that, and the fifth point of the Ms. Robin scale was that the extracurriculars. So in my ages, the only extracurricular was recognized when I was studying was the sports. And the other ones who are not good at sports, there was nothing much. So here, if you see that there are a lot of things are being looked into. The colleges, really the prestigious colleges and the top tier 1 colleges do want the kids who will be successful in the world, right? So who get to be the leaders, next CEOs, next generation leaders. So how they are looking at? They are looking at to see that how you manage your time, how much time you spend on the volunteering, what are you giving back to the community, along with how smart you are, how hardworking you are, how perseverance plays in your life. With all those things, so GATS can help you in 2 aspects, right? One, the GATS Youth Education Subcommittee is actually the volunteers, high school volunteers are providing tutoring opportunity. So they are mentoring the kids in the middle school, elementary, middle school, and high school to help them with their grades at the same time. And the second one is that, as Pongodi mentioned in the beginning, we have 6 different subcommittees. So for example, if somebody is interested in medicine, they can get volunteering in the medical subcommittee, and they do a lot of great programs. So like we do run a charity medical clinic where they do volunteer, and they run a couple of other medical related volunteering programs. Similarly, there is a technology subcommittee, and this one is like education subcommittee, sports subcommittee, and cultural subcommittee. All of this group provides a great leadership opportunity to enhance your resume when you are applying for a college. So it makes your look like a candidate which has well potential. So obviously everybody has a potential, but there are not many leadership opportunities available because of the limited number of clubs in the school. So that's where the GATS decided last year to bring this program. And last year, first program, we had about 150 kids and parents join. And this year, I saw that we almost reached our Zoom max capacity, and there is YouTube Live and Facebook Live and all. Like I am sure that we reach way beyond this 150 number that we hit last time. I'm really proud and happy that you are all taking this opportunity to learn and help your parents. And definitely thank you to all the EC and all other volunteers to make this event a great success. Thanks, Jay. Back to you.
Thank you, Sandil. Thanks for the brief overview. Ramki, do you want to say some few words or in the line?
Thanks, Jay, and thanks to our special guest, of course, our next generations, the leaders of future GATS. Definitely, I'm so confident and look forward to see the future generation to bring the value to their community, to their friends who are new to this particular education system. So how you believe in yourself, you need to translate that to your friends, unknown people. So you need to keep your network more expanded, as Sandil, Jay, and others explained. You need to connect with the community, share your experience, ask your questions that will help you to keep more strong and strong. So special thanks to EC team, of course, the youth volunteers, Pongodi, Kritika, and technology team who made a lot of information in the back end, which will be long-term reference for people where to start. So how to reach, that is really helpful to us. Special thanks to all of you. Kudos to kids. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ramki. It's a definitely right time to appreciate all these young leaders. You see, you mentioned very clearly, these are all the future leaders for GATS. So I would like to invite Erilan Ramarajan, if he's in the line, he can say some few words. Erilan Ramarajan. You want to say some few words? Okay, I think he's talking in a mute. Okay, yeah, I saw the comments like he mentioned. Awesome program. Thanks GATS team for organizing this great event. Much needed and great value for our kids. Special thanks to organizers, Sendil Pumudi GATS, everyone. So thank you. So before conclude this event, I want to say like special thanks to Robin Zhu and Ram Elati. Everyone like said the thanks, but special thanks to me. Ram is like long-term. We have a relationship with GATS for the medical clinic. So thank you, Ram and Robin Zhu. Come and spend your valuable time in the Sunday evening. And then the kids, Rinisha Ramprasad, Vipisha, Nikita Kuntu and Kuntu, Nikita Balakumar. You guys are all awesome. I mean, like the Divya Kadiravan, you all great job. You did a great job. Definitely, I want to see you all in the GATS for the future programs and then any initiative for the youth, everything, right? So, and then the two kids to run this show today, none other than like Shreya Sendil and Ashwat. Beautiful. I got the two good MCs in the future generation to conduct this kind of program in the future, right? So special thanks. Awesome. You both are really did very well. The time management and the expression, the delivering the content, everything. I see that complete hard work from entire team. I know like Kritika put a lot of efforts for the Zoom call today morning. She told me that, oh, this is kind of like 6th or 7th Zoom practice mock call we are doing. I see the results today and I am very glad and I am very happy to be part of this youth committee also, right? So, but now like I'm going back to my normal language, which is Tamil. I'm very much comfortable in that. So, இன்னைக்கு என்ன பண்ணியிருக்கோம்? So, கல்வியின் வலிமையை இந்த குழந்தைகள் எல்லாம் நம்மிடத்தில் கொண்டு வந்து சேர்த்திருக்கின்றார்கள். கல்வி என்பது இந்த உலகத்தில் ஒரு இன்றியமையாத விஷயமாக கருதப்படுகின்றது. அந்த விஷயத்தை எதிர்கால சந்ததியினர் தான் படித்த விஷயத்தை உள்வாங்கிக் கொண்டு என்னை போலவே மற்ற குழந்தைகளும் இதை பயன்பெற வேண்டும் என்று ஒரு நல்ல சிந்தனையோடு எடுத்து வந்து சேர்த்திருக்கின்றார்கள். இது அறம் சார்ந்த வாழ்க்கை. உங்களுக்கு தெரியாது அறம் சார்ந்த வாழ்க்கை என்ன என்று. நான் நல்லா இருக்கிறது போலவே மற்றவர்களும் நன்றாக இருக்க வேண்டும் அப்படின்னு நினைக்கிறது ஒரு அறம் சார்ந்த வாழ்க்கை. அதை கொண்டு வந்து சேர்த்த இந்த குழந்தைகளுக்கெல்லாம் என்னுடைய மனமார்ந்த நன்றிகள். கல்வியின் வலிமையை சொல்லும் பொழுது கல்வி கற்றவர்களுக்கு சென்ற இடமெல்லாம் சிறப்பு. எழுமையும் ஏமா புடைக்கும். என்ன புடைக்கும்? 7 generations the education will helpful. 7 தலைமுறைக்கு இந்த கல்வி நிச்சயமாக பயன்பெறும் என்பதுதான் திருவள்ளுவர் அழகாக சொல்லியிருக்கின்றார். இந்த கல்வியை பல அரிய தகவல்கள், நிறைய நுணுக்கமான தகவல்களை கொண்டு வந்து சேர்த்து அழகாக இந்த தரவுகளை எல்லாம் நம்முடைய வெப்சைட்ல ஏற்ற போகின்றோம். நீங்கள் எல்லாம் வந்து பார்க்கலாம். Yesterday is gone. Yesterday is done. We cannot do much on the yesterday, right? Past is past அப்படின்னு சொல்வார்கள். And future is uncertain. It's kind of like cat on the wall. We don't know what to do about that. But the current situation, the current is in your hand. You can always utilize properly with a good supporting system, concentration, determination, everything. இதில் தமிழில் ஒரு அழகாக சொல்கின்றார்கள். நேற்று என்பது உடைந்த பானை. நேற்று என்பது உடைந்த பானை. நாளை என்பது மதில் மேல் இருக்கும் பூனை. இன்று என்பது உங்கள் கையில் இருக்கும் வீணை. நீங்கள் அதை அழகாக மீட்டினீர்கள் என்றால் நீங்கள் சென்றடைவீர்கள் வானை. இதுதான் இன்றைய நிர்சத்தனமான உண்மை. இந்த இளைய சமுதாயத்தினர் வந்து நமக்கு அழகான தகவல்களை எல்லாம் பரிமாறி கொடுத்திருக்கின்றார்கள். மிக்க நன்றி. செந்தில் அவர்களுக்கும் ராம்கி அவர்களுக்கும் மிக்க நன்றி. போன வருடம் இந்த யூத் மூலமாக நிறைய விஷயங்களை செய்து நல்ல ஒரு துவக்கம் பண்ணி கொடுத்தார்கள். அதனுடைய பின்னோட்டமாகத்தான் இந்த வருடமும் அதற்கான பணிகளில் எல்லாம் கிருத்திகா அவர்களும் பூங்கொடி அவர்களும் சேர்ந்து செய்து கொண்டிருக்கின்றார்கள். என்னுடைய டெக்னிக்கல் டீம் சொல்லாம இருக்கவே கூடாது. இந்த வாரம் பார்த்தீர்கள் என்றால் இது 3வது ப்ரோக்ராம். This is the 3rd program in a row. Like Saturday 2 program, அந்த இன்னைக்கு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு ப்ரோக்ராம். தொடர்ந்து 7-8 மணி நேரம் ஒரே இடத்தில் உட்கார்ந்து வேலை செய்ய வேண்டும் என்றால் அந்த அர்ப்பணிப்பு இருக்க வேண்டும். இல்லைன்னா சும்மா எல்லாம் பண்ண முடியாது. இதெல்லாம் இது சாதாரண விஷயம் கிடையாது. this is kind of very very serious job. So இன்று நாம் செய்திருக்கின்ற பணி கிரேட்டர் அட்லாண்டா தமிழ் சங்கத்தில மிகவும் முக்கியமான நிகழ்ச்சியாக கருதப்படுகின்றது. இதை கொண்டு வந்து சேர்த்த அனைத்து நல்ல உள்ளங்களுக்கும், என்னுடைய செயற்குழு உறுப்பினர்களுக்கும், மகேந்திரன் அவர்களுக்கும், ராம் அவர்களுக்கும், ஸ்பெஷல் தேங்க்ஸ் டு கிருத்திகா பூங்குடி. உங்கள் அனைவருக்கும் என்னுடைய மாலை வணக்கங்கள். இணைப்பில் இணைந்த அனைத்து நல்ல உள்ளங்களுக்கும் பெற்றோர்களுக்கும் இன்னொரு முறை என்னுடைய மாலை வணக்கங்களை கூறி உங்களிடத்திலிருந்து விடைபெறுகின்றேன். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
நன்றி.
Thank you, Uncle.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for this good opportunity.
Jay, feedback ஏதாவது எடுக்கிறீங்களா பசங்க கிட்ட இருந்து?
Oh yeah, is anyone like apart from the presenters, is there any other high school students are there? You want to share your experience?
It can be parents or children, anyone.
Yeah.
Not only experiences, share. I mean, even if you have any questions, feel free to ask us. Reach out.
Yeah, I can see so many parents joined today. Katiravan, Meena.
Thanks, Kadiravan here. Again, thanks for the opportunity. I think this is a great opportunity for kids to listen and learn. And I think I really appreciate the opportunity. And again, thank you very much to GATS.
Thank you, Kadiravan. Sumati Param, நீங்கள் முதல்லயே join பண்ணி, you joined at the number 1 level. Sumati Param, you stayed till the end of the program. You want to say something?
Yeah, this is a piece as dad. I think this is very resourceful. I have a middle school daughter, and I think she's listening to this. This demo. I mean, this is very useful, and thank you so much, guys, for putting this together, and appreciate it.
Thank you. Sindamarai. Or Karishma, Nitin, Anita Rajesh,
Anybody from the presenters? Would you like to share something like from your co-presenters?
Yeah.
You must have learned a lot of information.
Hello, this is Anita.
Yeah.
I'm one of the viewers.
Okay.
I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. Although I'm not in the area that all of the presenters are living in, I'm in New Jersey area. I still feel connected to like the Tamil community through this presentation. I myself am a high school student. My younger brother and I have started an initiative during this COVID situation. It's not necessarily a tutoring program, but we're trying to help other high school students by providing the course materials we've accumulated. So seeing other kids, especially Tamil kids, trying to take initiative as well was very inspirational, and we'll definitely reach out, and we really want to somehow work with you all in the future. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, that's so nice to hear, Anita. Please contact us in an email and we would love to get connected with you.
Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you.
So இன்னொருத்தரை கூப்பிட போறேன். பத்மா ராம் பிரகாஷ் இருக்காங்களா? Renisha, is your mom is there?
You can call her. 1 second.
Okay, and then Parani, Vipisha father.
I think
Hi.
he just.
Oh, Karishma.
My name is Charishma, and this is such a great opportunity. I learned a lot. I had questions about ACT and SAT, and I think some of those questions were cleared. For further like events like this, where can I like register, or where can I get the links to?
You can always email the GATS youth committee kana, and in the chat room, I'll ask them to post the email address again. You can get enrolled in the committee and you'll be getting continuous updates on these.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So Nikita or someone, can you please?
One quick second, sorry to interrupt. So for people who you are not part of GATS, or you're new to GATS, and if you want to get your future communications, one, you can follow us on our GATS Facebook page. And also, if you want to go through some of the past events, or you want to even revisit the event that we just did today, you could go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel, and you would get more information. And like Kritika said, you could also reach out to the youth committee. So maybe Kritika or one of the team members can just post the email ID or the contact details in the chat room here, chat window here, so that people can pick it up from there as well.
Yeah, thanks, Pavitra.
No problem.
As a CD, you know the right means to let people
I'm just doing
reach
my
us.
job.
Yeah, thank you. So I think the children have posted all the contact information. You can reach out to various people. But if you specifically want to reach out to the GATS, education committee, you have the GATS -tutoring at gatamilsangam.org address.
Right. Okay, anyone else?
I just wanted to say thank you for the great opportunity that you gave today.
Sure, Divya.
Thank you, Divya.
Kritika wants to say something. Kritika.
Oh, I don't know. I just have to say thank you to all these children, because they've been so patient. Like multiple calls we had, so many corrections. Like even this afternoon, I was looking at their slides and telling, hey, let's correct this, let's correct that. So being in this generation, they were never like we know they never treated me like that. They were so nice, and they took all the input. They educated me on so many things. So I'm really fortunate to be working with all these children. So I just want to say thank you again.
Any of the parents from a presenter? Anyone is coming joining? Ashwath, is your dad or mom? Okay, sure.
No, I think they're both taking a nap.
We can stop the live.
This is Balakumar, Nikita's father.
Ashwath, it's on live.